We're going to go into the discussions proper, and I have my guest seated in studio here with me. To my right is the editor of the Finder newspaper, Elvis Darko. Good morning, Elvis.
Good morning.
And to my left is the host of Eyewitness News on Citi 97.3 FM, Umaru Sanda Amadu.
Bonjour, Tuffour.
Yes, sir. Comment ça va?
What is that?
Yesterday was your birthday. How did you celebrate it?
Oh, I flew an Airbus to Akuse and back. It was a mini Airbus. It was
a mini one.
It didn't have the propellers like the one that...
But now, as you mentioned it, let's move into that discussion. I'll take a few paragraphs from how the Finder, Elvis, your paper captured the story. Headline says, over 5 million euros Airbus bribe, which elected government official and brother were involved. The main story is captured on page 4, and it reads, Airbus SE, an European multinational aerospace corporation, has admitted paying bribes in excess of 3.5 million euros to a high-ranking elected Ghana government official who took office in 2009 for Ghana to buy 2 C-295 military aircrafts. An additional 1.6 million euros bribe agreed in connection with one C-295 sale in 2015 was not paid. This brings the total bribes to over 5 million euros in transactions that lasted between 2011 and 2015. The bribes were said to be paid through a complex scheme that involved the brother of the elected high-ranking Ghana government official, a citizen of the United Kingdom, a Spanish company, and senior executives of Airbus. So this issue is quite troubling. I mean, you think that an issue that occurred how many years back? But then, of course, the case was in court. And today, from court documents, we're understanding that Airbus has actually admitted paying bribes in a number of countries, including Ghana. And within this stated period, officials, Ghanaian officials, are said to have received some amounts in bribes. Elvis Darko, your initial thoughts on this issue?
Well, it only shows that there are some countries who don't take corruption lightly at all. They will do anything possible to make sure that if you are engaged in something, they will deal with you. This is a company that is not a state institution. This is a private company.
Right.
But because there are laws in such countries that says that if you are from that country, wherever you find yourself in the world, whatever you do, if it's against certain rules, you will be investigated. So they were investigated based on laws of those countries that prohibit them from doing what Airbus has admitted doing. And that is what shows that some people really are fighting corruption. Yeah. And reading the entire story, you realize that it's quite a complex issue. And now that names have not been mentioned.
Yeah.
But this is how they put it, according to the courts in the United States. This case was investigated in the U.S., in the UK, and France together. So 3 countries collaborated to investigate this. So once it was filed in the UK court, it was filed in France at the same time in the US. So I depended on what was filed in the US. And for them, they make the case that this is completely a concocted plan just to take bribes. That was how they put it, a concocted plan to take bribes. This is how they put it. According to them, Ghana wanted to buy this aircraft. 2 in the first transaction and 1 in the second transaction. And whilst the discussions were going on, a brother of a high-ranking elected government official was brought on board. Airbus actually hired this gentleman as a consultant without any written agreement. And according to the investigation, this gentleman was brought on board because of his relationship with the high-ranking government official who actually is the person in charge of the deal.
Right.
So it's like he is supposed to be the link man between the high-ranking official and Airbus to facilitate the payment of these bribes. So they worked for 2 years to put together a proposal for the sale. When the proposal was presented to Airbus has what's called a compliance department. They scrutinized the proposal and found out that this gentleman is a brother to the high-ranking official.
Yes.
And by their rules, that is not permitted. So they rejected the proposal. Right. Because this brother of the high-rank official teamed up with a citizen of the UK to form a company. So they were using that company to do the transaction.
Right.
So when the proposal was presented to Airbus and the scrutiny realized that this company that they are presenting is owned by the brother of the high-ranking government official. And therefore, there is this rule that they can't work with them. So they rejected their plan. So then, officials of Airbus now proposed to the Ghanaians in the deal that your proposal has been rejected, but you can still go around the system, which you will not be found. So there is this company in Spain, which already has a good track record in dealing with Airbus. So you can use it as a front to do the business. So then they contacted the Spanish company, which already has been audited and everything by Airbus. To now come and lead the deal.
Right.
So this Spanish company now led the deal, got the 2 aircraft sold to Ghana. And for the 2 aircraft that were sold to Ghana, the payments that they're supposed to receive, or which they received, was 3.5 million euros. The 3.5 million euros was paid to the Spanish company. The Spanish company transferred 1.8 million to the Ghanaians and also pocketed the rest.
Right.
Then the second deal, which was the other aircraft, which was sold, they were supposed to pay another money of 1.6 million through the Spanish company to come to the deal.
Yeah.
But at that time, Airbus had now found out that there is something wrong with the entire deal. Because when they presented, they said they wanted to continue the previous transaction. And then they said, the compliance department said no. There should be a complete new deal.
Right.
When the complete new deal was presented, now they went ahead to do a due diligence on the earlier deal. Then they realized that even in the earlier deal, it wasn't even the Spanish company that actually has record of buying those aircraft.
Yeah.
So then suspicion came in that something really is wrong. So that 1.6 million, they were not going to pay to the Spanish company. And this led to the investigations. The Spanish company claims that it's in Ghana. In fact, its address is in Ghana. But it's a company that is based in Spain. So the investigators looked at all these things and they said that it's because the Ghanaian company that's supposed to be the intermediary to do the deal, which they said is a completely concocted plan just to pay bribes, was rejected. Then the Airbus executives, top executives, proposed that they should use the Spanish company to front the deal.
Right.
So that the Ghanaian companies can still make their money from the deal. So from what was filed in the U.S. court, for them, the whole deal was fronted by it belongs to the high government official who is an elected official. But his brother was used as a front, the middleman to do the deal. Right. But his brother's company that he formed with a UK national to run the deal also got rejected by Airbus along the way because after the deal, they realized that no, they can't deal with the company because the gentleman who is supposed to be shareholder in that company is related to the high-ranking official, and therefore there couldn't be. Right. And if you read the story, it's quite amazing that this high government official was constantly in touch with the Airbus top executives on the deal. And according to the filing in the U.S. court, that top government official actually facilitated government decision to buy the aircraft.
Right.
And also went ahead to facilitate parliamentary approval. Also was very influential in parliamentary approval for the deal. So when they did all the investigations, they just came to the conclusion that the whole thing was a concocted plan.
Let's look at how this story has been received locally and then the steps that have been taken. So we understand that President Akufo-Addo has directed a special prosecutor to liaise with his UK counterparts to investigate this matter. There's a statement here. It's titled Inquiry into Bribery of Ghanaian Officials in Military Aircraft Deal. The attention of the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has been drawn to a 31st January 2020 judgment of the Crown Court at Southwark in the United Kingdom between the Director of the Serious Fraud Office and Airbus SE, in which the European Multinational Aerospace Corporation has been fined $3.9 billion for the payment of bribes to secure deals in 5 countries, including Ghana. Now it goes down there. The last paragraph says, President Akufo-Addo has taken notice of the judgment and its implication and has referred it to the Office of the Special Prosecutor to collaborate with its UK counterparts to conduct a prompt inquiry to determine the complicity or otherwise of any Ghanaian government official, past or present. The President's reaction to this, step in the right direction?
Yes, indeed, it is. Let me quickly say that This deal, so it's not a new thing we are talking about. I believe the aircrafts are even old by now. Because one of them recently just overran this. So it's not a new deal. These are old aircraft. And I'm excited that these revelations are coming at this time, no matter how belated. Now, let's quickly say that the minority leader at the time, Oseche Mensah, so when this deal was brought before Parliament, had raised a number of red flags at the time. And these are red flags that we should have followed. But of course, like it's symptomatic of our politics, when the governing party brings something to Parliament, no matter how much protest is raised from the opposition side, it will still be bulldozed through anyway. And it's the same thing that's happening today. Usually the opposition party may be raising genuine issues, but they will still be shut down because they are opposition. There are times too that, of course, they'll just be doing politics. But it is so unhealthy that these things are happening. I mean, in Sri Lanka, when the issue came up, I've been told that the government has agreed, both the government and the opposition, that there's going to be an open and clean investigation. We have seen Marietta Brew appear upon statement. Of course, she has attempted to set some records straight, which is in right order. But I think if we had listened to Oseche Mensah at the time when he made this statement, we may not have gotten to where we got to. Yeah. If we had preempted these things, we would have not gotten to where we've gotten to today. Indeed, I've seen publications suggesting that Martin Amidu, who served as an Attorney General at a point in that particular government that we're talking about between 2009 and 2015 until he left government, just before Mahama became president, I'm told has raised previous issues in this particular matter. We are told that he attempted, former President Mills or the late President Mills attempted to have John Mahama investigate about this issue. I don't know how truthful, how factual. I think
that one was about the Embraer.
About the Embraer
is not about this.
Okay, but that also, the Embraer was also a whole
controversy. That's completely different.
That's for Boeing.
That's completely different.
The Embraer is Brazilian. Embraer is a Brazilian company. Now, we remember how that also panned out, the issue of the hangar and so on. But my point is that this is an opportunity for us. Some people have done the work for us, so we don't really have to go much. Names have not been mentioned, but we can easily find these names if we are a serious organization or a serious country that wants to fight corruption. I'm happy with the speed light or the light of speed that Nana Akufo-Addo referred this particular issue to the special prosecutor. It's exciting to see. I'm waiting to see which next deal will come up or which next scandal will come up and how much time he's going to go. So this happened on Saturday, and then last night he has already issued a statement saying that he has asked the Attorney General, the special prosecutor, to investigate. This is a chance for the former Attorney General, who is special prosecutor now, Martin Amidu, to actually do something that will get the plaudits that he deserves. This is someone who has done a lot of work while he was a private person. He has been given an office now. Of course, so many issues that he has raised in the past about the operationalization. He's still raising those issues. But I think there's a chance that, of course, something has been referred to him. This will not be the first time, though. The president referred the procurement authority boards to him. We do not know how successful that case has gotten. So this happened mid-last year when the former procurement boss was referred to him. I'm not sure he's had his day in court yet. Now, if we're doing the same thing with this one it actually involves traveling across the Sahara Desert to Europe to go and do investigations. I don't know how far we're going to get with an office that is ailing, with an office that is struggling. If investigating the procurement boss here in Accra is proving so much difficulty and all these months, I wonder how much that's going to take. Right. But just a quick point, I'm saying that what other deals in the past have sunk or have been stinking this bad, and we have not known about it? It is a time for us to actually open up this whole deal. All the deals that have come through parliamentary scrutiny. Now that we know that there are intermediaries that actually do these deals, and that they are not, our procurement authority is not really the institution that does this oversight, then we have to start asking questions. Our parliament has failed us, our procurement authority has failed us, because apparently somebody has bagged so much in their pocket, and
due diligence wasn't done. Elvis, briefly, how we receive some of these stories and our approach towards them? Are we going to see the usual MPP, NDC thing? Because already now President's statement has come out directing special prosecutor to investigate. Former Attorney General Marietta Brew has come out that NDC officials did not receive any bribes or commissions. Are we going to see the usual banter and then no prosecution, no punishment, and then we leave it as it is?
In the case of the Maybe and Johnson, it was still the UK issue. Did we prosecute people?
It didn't end anyway.
The other one, the Amajaro, It's also the same. It's also an UK company. The same rules that they used to investigate them. Do you prosecute anybody? So you see, this is not the first time Ghana is being implicated in international scandals that we didn't act and prosecute anybody. Anybody should give me evidence, whether in Amajaro or in the Maybe and Johnson, we actually prosecuted somebody in this country. It came like this. The investigations were done in the UK, court filings were done. Over there, people were prosecuted. But then in Ghana, we didn't really see people being prosecuted. So you see, it is something that we as a country have to take serious. And for Martin Amidu, I think he was even the Deputy Attorney General at the time that this deal was signed.
Yeah. Attorney General.
He was Attorney General.
He would have been Attorney General, Minister for the Interior.
And for Martin Amidu to be the one to investigate it, I see a stumbling block. You see why the people have not issued names. The case has not gone to full trial yet. This one is a settlement that Airbus says, we admit our crime, we want to just accept our fines and move on.
To save us.
The people who are actually involved are going to be prosecuted in those countries later on.
Yeah.
And that is where the names and all those will come up. I don't foresee those investigative bodies releasing names to Ghana when they have not started prosecution.
Yeah.
So I see this referral as important, but then we must let Ghanaians understand that we shouldn't expect to see names anytime soon.
Right.
Because if those who investigated the case have not started prosecution, they won't give it to you because you may end up destroying the case and giving arsenal to the people to attack them when they start their prosecutions.
True.
So I really think that we have to understand that even though we say Matiam should go and investigate, I don't expect UK, France, or US to release the names of the Ghanaians. But they have names.
Right.
They have emails. They talk about phone numbers of the high-ranking officials and the Ghanaians who are involved. All of them have been said, but they only don't disclose the phone numbers. So they know the people that are involved. But I don't foresee those countries releasing it to Ghana anytime when they have not started prosecution. I don't see. So let's not have too much hope that it has been referred to Matiam. Therefore, immediately we are going to see the names of the people that are involved. And as I said, Maybe and Johnson and Amajaro are examples for us to understand that these things were investigated in those countries. But in Ghana, we didn't find anybody. We didn't put anybody in jail. So we should be minded
Let's
with
go for a
expectation.
quick break. When we come back, there are more issues to be discussed. There are a number of stories making the headlines this morning. We're going for a quick break. This is Breakfast Daily. Stay with us. The hashtag, of course, is Breakfast Daily. And you can send in your WhatsApp messages via the number 0550585832. If you're watching us on DSTV and you're outside Ghana, please use the country code +233. We'll be right back.
Oh, how are you?
Hi Yvonne, a few words please. Everyone is talking about the fire at your production house last week. How are you holding up? Has production stalled?
No, not at all. My crew and everyone on my set is perfectly fine because I insure with Serene Insurance. As a matter of fact, I've had all my equipment replaced, including the vehicles that were affected. My workers have been sorted out. Even my production downtime has been covered. So it's all good. I have a meeting to attend to, so I have to get going. Sorry about that.
Which insurance company did you mention?
Serene Insurance, the new face of insurance, a member of First Sky Group.
Yeah, welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily on Citi TV. We're having the news review where we get to appreciate the various stories that made the headlines in the dailies this morning. And just before the break, we're discussing the evolving Airbus bribery or corruption scandal. And I'm going to give Sanda a final take on this issue. It has rocked 5 countries, Ghana involved, names yet to be mentioned. President directs special prosecutor to begin investigations. Should we relax?
No, we should not relax. Let's keep an eye on this particular issue, because before we went on a break, Elvis was referring to the Maybe and Johnson, or Mabi and Johnson as it was popularly called at the time, and the issues that surrounded it and how that has ended. And I'm saying that, you see, we are a country of scandals. There's a scandal every week, and then we forget about it. There were some scandals that I actually thought would never end. They still ended. We actually have forgotten about them. When the institutions are given the mandate to do the investigations, we never see it. I mean, which scandal is bigger than number 12? Has Christine Nyantechi sat in any courtroom yet?
No.
As of Thursday, when I interviewed Deputy AG Joseph Kwenka, I did not get an indication that they were putting him in court. And I'm not saying that he's guilty or anything. I'm just saying that we are too slow in progressing with these statements. Number 12 was so huge. Look at the drastic measures that FIFA put in place. How much time did it take us to find some, semblance of continuity in this particular deal? Have people gone to court? Look at Nana Appiah Mensah of Men's Gold. There was a huge issue about he is being arrested in Dubai and he will be coming back to town. His arrival was almost like the arrival of the power badge that came to save the Doomsaw from Turkey. I mean, it was huge. He came. Nothing is happening.
Nothing is happening.
And I'm saying that we have state institutions that we pay to ensure that our money doesn't go to the wrong pockets. But that is happening. And it's disappointing and it's painful that this morning as we speak, there's possibly some people walking in your village, moving from one dam to another, trying to dig and fetch water to go take home and cook and drink. And so on. There will be children who are walking miles to school. And there are some of these children who are wearing tattered clothing. And government is supposed to provide a lot of these basic amenities. But these basic amenities are being diverted because someone somewhere who is an intermediary and he has a number 5 to his name is earning so much for no work really done. And if you look at the story further, this issue of how there was quick due diligence was done, and it was found out that this particular intermediary was related to the government official. So they decided to change the whole deal and give it to some Spanish company to come and do the fronting and so on. I think this is a bad deal, and sadly, I must say that nothing will come out of it. But it's about time we started to see things coming out of issues like this. And I'm saying that I'm happy the president referred this to the special prosecutor, but I want to see him refer more of these cases. And I want to see him empower the special prosecutor so that the special prosecutor will issue a statement and say, finally, I've got everything I want. Because mind you, as we speak, he has been given a 10-story building, which he believes is going to solve all his problems. He has not moved in yet because the basic things have not been done. So we're such a crazy country, I think, and we have to move on.
And the suspicion is that there are more of such scandals.
There would be, because this will not our first international deal. As we speak, Parliament will be sitting shortly. They don't sit on Mondays, on Tuesday. Chances are that there will be another loan agreement that is brought before them. And when the people debate, we are giving the impression that, okay, this is going to solve so much, or there's a dam that is going to be built in Upper East. We are all happy, Polugu Dam. But when the figures come up, all right, they will debate, and we say, okay, for the good of the people, let's go ahead and okay it. Not knowing a huge percentage of that amount is going to somebody who is not deserving. I don't care who this person is, and it's important that to say that no name has been officially mentioned by the institutions. So many people are flying so many names around. But until we get the evidence as a media house, we are unable to say A, B, C, D. So these people, there are people who are authorized to do these investigations. They should go ahead and do these investigations. Let's get to the bottom of this matter, at least, if we haven't gotten to anyone at all.
Right. Great.
And let me add this one. See, this is why I always say that blaming the president for corruption will never solve our problem. If the institutions are not made to work, look at this. This is a private company, okay? This is a private company, not a public institution. But the state investigative bodies were interested in what they are doing outside the UK, outside France, outside America. Look at the depth of investigation that they have done. But I see, when you read the story, that's what I'm so elated. A huge part of the fines that have been imposed on Airbus is going back to the investigative body for the money and the time they spent on the case.
They're going to share
so the $4 billion, almost about $3 billion will go to the various investigative bodies that collaborated. So it gives them more power. They have money. So they don't need the president to direct them. This country's problem in fighting corruption is that when there's something, we expect the president to direct and go and investigate. That will never fight corruption.
But
that is why we are never.
These bodies do not have the wherewithal to go out on their own.
We must begin to have people who will say, forget about it. Look at the Auditor General. I said, if we can have people like him who will say, damn the consequences, I'll take on everybody. The law that gives me my duty says I should do this. It doesn't matter who is involved.
Yeah.
I'm going to take on the case. We need people like him, and we need them to work like the way. That is the only way we can fight corruption. But if we say, let's blame the president for political capital, we will keep changing the government and change the president. Corruption will get worse, because the real fight for corruption is with the prosecutors, investigators, and the judiciary. The president is the least you should expect in the fight of corruption. But in Ghana, because of political capital, every corruption, let's blame the president and the presidency. And that is why we are not getting results. We should begin to demand results from the judiciary, the prosecutors, the investigators. Why are these cases taking so long in the court? Cases are in court for corruption and for years. But if a plantative goes there, 1 month, 2 months is jail. Why can you jail plantative within 2 months and you can't jail somebody who is engaged in a large-scale corruption? We are wrongly fighting corruption, and we must change the perception, must change direction, else we will never go anywhere.
Right. Well, let's move away from the Airbus scandal, and then let's do some local stuff. The issue of illegal mining, the fight against Galamsey. Has it been won? Is it being won? Or we're losing out on it? I'll take a story from the citynewsroom.com, and this one says, our seized excavators are being used for Galamsey. This is coming from the Concerned Small-Scale Miners, paragraph 42. It appears the about 500 excavators seized during the intense crusade against illegal small-scale mining between 2017 and 2018 are not missing, as alleged by the chairman of the Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, Professor Tuffour Boateng. Now, members of the Concerned Small-Scale Miners Union of Ghana say they know the whereabouts of the earth-moving machines. President of the union, Richard Kojo Pepra, speaking to City News, said some of their members traced their excavators to various illegal mining sites in parts of the country. Quote, we were able to find some of these machines in Tamale. Some of these machines had tracking devices, so we were able to trace them. When they take the machine in the Ashanti region, then they send it to the northern region. They are engaged in one activity or the other. Some are even engaged in Galamsey. End quote. So this is what we are having to deal with now. Initiate a fight, seize equipment. Minister who chairs the Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining comes out to say that they cannot find the machines. And today the association, the small-scale miners, the Concerned Small-Scale Miners Union, says they are the owners of the machines that were seized. They have tracking devices on them and they know where they are.
Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the President of the Republic, at a point said that he was willing to lose his position as president. I mean, at the fight against Galamsey. And this was a statement he made, 3 years or so ago when we started this particular campaign. And we were like, all right, that's a huge presidential endorsement. If the man is willing to put his presidency on the line for Galamsey, then it means we're actually going to see a sanitization of that particular space. It started, and there's a term we have here at Citi FM, IGG, initial gra-gra. So it started with this whole giddy. We thought, okay, a lot of things were going to happen. And then today, look at this huge scandal that we have on our hands. In one breath, there were people committing crime. You decided to come in and stop them. You started well, of course, with the support of Citi FM and other media houses that joined subsequently. You were doing your fight. You set up all these task force, the military, the police, even the Navy were brought in at a point because they said these miners, sometimes they dive into the water bodies and they are not able to go after them. Little did we know that someone saw an opportunity to cash in on this particular issue. And I'm scandalized because I remember from John Peter Mewu's time, they were bringing these excavators, so many of them. Almost every week they were reporting how many excavators they had brought in. They said at a point they were going to put trackers on some of them and return them to site. Then there was a change. He had to move from that ministry. A new minister comes, and then we were told that Professor Tuffour Boateng is the head of the task force because he's the Minister for Environment and it's an environmental issue that we're talking about. And then you come in to tell us that the excavators are missing. How does an excavator get missing? Tell me, an excavator, I believe, is the machine, the one that looks like a bulldozer.
The big one.
The huge one.
Yeah.
How can that get missing? How does it even make sense that 500 excavators will get missing? Unless you poured acid.
And these were seized and placed in the custody of district assemblies.
Unless you poured acid on them, then they will dissolve. But I'm not sure that's what happened.
Right.
I think it's a cock and bull story, and I think we should call out the Minister for Environment for what he has said and say to him that he has failed in that regard. Your job is to ensure that these things are kept in custody. You impounded them for a reason, and now they disappeared. And the sad part is what the association is saying to us, that they have been taken to other places and they are being used for mining. And so what it means is that Galamsey is actually ongoing. Except that it's not happening or it's not being done by the ordinary people who used to do it in the past. So we had ordinary people committing a crime. As a media house, we thought it was wrong. We raised a campaign, and then it was stopped. The power was taken from the illegal miners who are ordinary men, as in like the small boys who are just digging and trying to find gold and something to put in their mouth. Now it has gone into the hand of the big men, the so-called big men. So this could be politicians, most definitely, owning huge concessions and using these excavators to explore. And I'm wondering, where is the president who said he was going to put his presidency on the line? Is he still in town? Has he seen what's been said? He's traveling to the Savannah region, Upper West region, where there may not be a lot of mining in that area. But I expect to hear a statement from the president on this particular issue. There should be something in reference to what his ministers have done so far. How have they fared? Have we even done a review of the Interministerial Task Force on illegal mining?
Exactly. What objectives that were given.
How have they fared?
Exactly.
There were clear references. How have these references gone in terms of references that were given to them? How have they gone so far? What has been the level of execution? What percentage of the lands have we reclaimed? What percentage of excavators that we thought were in the bush have we gone to bring back? Right. And where are these excavators? I don't believe this story of excavators getting missing. I think it is to put it mildly, a silly story that we are told.
Elvis, how do we end this problem totally? Because it is obvious these boys we are picking up from the sites cannot afford these machines. So obviously they are working for someone. Now, in the Bekwai district, where some 70 hectares of forest reserve has been destroyed, the Forestry Commission appears helpless because according to the officer stationed there are some hands, unforeseen hands behind whatever is going on. And so without they going there to make arrests, the boys are released the next day and they are back there working. How do we end all this?
How will you end it? You can't end it if you are fighting this. See, it was a complete sham, okay? A complete sham to claim that we are fighting somewhere. There was no fight anywhere. As he has said, we have just taken the thing from the poor people, now giving it to the rich people, okay? That's what we have done. Nobody should deceive you that the Galamsey fight has yielded any result. The past week, I've seen photos from various communities that when the fight started, we were told that that's the state of the water bodies and that we are going to make sure that they become clean. The water bodies are now worse off. They are worse off before even the Galamsey fight started. So if anybody told you that we are making any progress in the Galamsey fight, just use the state of the water bodies at the time the fight started and as of today to judge whether indeed we are making any progress. There is no progress. Because the key issue about this whole fight was the water security of Ghana. Yeah. That even if small-scale mining will be done, it shouldn't have any impact on our water bodies. And that was the essence of getting into the Galamsey fight. Yeah. So if today the state of the water bodies in the affected community are worse off than it was when the fight started, obviously that is a complete indication that there was no Galamsey fight. Right. Okay? We sit in this country and state institutions will know. How can a minister of state, for God's sake, tell me that excavator is missing? As for the guinea fowl, I understand because they can fly.
They can fly.
But do excavators have wings to fly? Do they have wings to fly?
They can't even move on their own on the road.
I can't believe it. On the third road, you need to put them on a larger because they will destroy even the road. And we have a minister of state says that they are missing. In fact, if the president really meant what he said, that minister would have been fired that moment.
But that minister
he would have been in the investigation.
You remember that earlier, even before saying that the excavators were missing, he had come out to say that they were losing the fight, or there's been a resurfacing of illegal mining because the prosecution of persons arrested had been slow.
Of course, but that is also one thing. But if you arrest the people and they are not being prosecuted, it doesn't mean that you can't protect the water bodies.
But the Chief Justice set up a specialized court for these things.
You understand it? If the people are not being prosecuted, leave it. If the water bodies are safe for me to drink and the people are not prosecuted, I am better off. Look, water is something that is irreplaceable.
Yeah. It's actually a scarce resource.
All the breweries companies around the world are moving into water because water is the next big thing in the whole world. All the multinational companies that are doing breweries that today, if you check their records, their next line of action is going into water. There's no way we can survive in this country without water. So if we are destroying our freshwater bodies and we set up a committee and now the water bodies are worse off before the committee was set up, it is obvious. I don't need any indicator to tell me that we failed the Galamsey fight. Yeah. We live in Ghana, and that is the interesting thing. We know people in these communities, and they call you and tell you that, oh, don't worry, as for here, the Galamsey is going on. The police commander, they will come and take 100 cedis from everybody every week. When the Galamsey committee comes, everybody pays 1,000 cedis a week, a month, and then they come and collect it, they go. That is all they do. So there is nothing called Galamsey fight. Right. And these stories are coming from people in affected communities. And we sit there, we are pretending that nothing happens. But you see, the opportunity, the real opportunity for us to clear the corruption in the Galamsey was the Anas video. That created opportunity that you see something is indeed actually wrong with the Galamsey fight. Yeah. And we should have descended heavily, okay, at that point to send a signal. But why is the prosecution in the Galamsey fight? The special prosecutor said he is still working on it. He will definitely go to court.
But the CID cleared.
The CID said exactly. No, the CID issued. They cleared because they said Anas said he won't cooperate. So they don't have the evidence to go and look for anybody. Exactly. So the CID clearing is on a basis that Anas said he doesn't trust them to deal with the case, so he won't cooperate. So Anas, they won't get the evidence. But the special prosecutor had given us assurance when the issue of the CID cleared them came that he is still working on it. Soon he will go to court. Since when? It's over 3-4 months now he gave that assurance that soon we'll hear from him in court. 4 months down the line, 3 months down the line, we still haven't heard from the special prosecutor. So you see, we had an indication. And somebody, an investigative journalist said, there are allegations that people are taking money. I'm going in to see whether there's something. He produced a video, we all watched it. What happened? So you see, but we should understand that the future of this country is not gold, it's not cocoa, it's not anything. It's about the water that people will drink. Nobody will survive in this country if we cannot get good drinking water.
And that is
if
really
you go to
problem.
The mining communities, various researches have been done which shows that people are now developing more kidney problems in those communities because of leakage of cyanide and other chemicals from this mining into the water body, which the people downstream continue to drink. And so you realize that even in our health, we are creating a massive crisis for ourselves. So if we sit down and the Minister of State comes to tell us that excavator, which if you put 100 people here, we can't even carry it. 100 people, bring 100 people and say, carry one excavator, we can't carry it. But we have been told that they miraculously vanished. And nobody is asking that minister that, please, if indeed the records exist that these things have been seized, we must have every single one of them produced. Yeah, the minister is still in office.
He received his January salary. Actually.
You understand it? And we think that this is the way we have to fight Galamsey or corruption. You see, it's Galamsey fight over corruption has resurfaced there. So you see, if we don't set that signal, the minister, to be frank with you, if I were the president, I would fire him that very day. He said that the things were missing. Because under no circumstances as you, the chairman, come to public to say that the thing is missing. Even if some people have done something with the thing and you got to know, it's your duty to act and make sure that you retrieve them. But don't come and tell me that you don't know their whereabouts and the things are missing. When records show that when the previous minister was there, these things were being seized. What are we talking about? Are we saying that we see the excavator, just left them somewhere and somebody went to pick it? It will not work. And this is the Galamsey fight. The reason it don't work is that the security people have become corrupted because they see that while they are working hard to protect, some big people, powerful people, are enjoying the benefit of Galamsey. So why should I be working hard when you are enjoying the benefit? So we should all allow people who can do it and give us something and give. And there are several allegations against the tax force that they are collecting money and allowing people to do it. Who has investigated the tax force?
There are even allegations of they protecting something.
That is the point. You see, I said this from the beginning. The Galamsey fight, the approach will not work. You come to this site, we are doing Galamsey, you come and seize equipment, you move to the next site. When you are gone, I am back. Until we have a coordinated plan and said, as for these areas, because of the water body, we are having permanent operation teams.
Elvis,
places.
You've forgotten we have drones that are doing the monitoring for us.
And
we have an app called Galamsey.
That one, I don't even want to go into it.
But it's technology.
Yes, it's technology. So
we're unable to apply.
Has anybody given us any update on how that is tracking the Galamsey?
Maybe the batteries in the
there's a
drones
problem
have
with
died.
this issue of the drones, because if these drones were really working, they wouldn't have had 70 hectares of forest land destroyed. 70 hectares of forest.
The drone you are talking about, how does it work?
You use Tiger
the drone automatically knows that somebody is doing Galamsey here.
No.
Is that what you are trying to say?
But then you're supposed to be patrolling all the. I mean, the committee should have been able to identify all these
the issue of drones was not even properly thought about, because a drone is not something that will automatically it is somebody who will program it and say today.
Elvis, for the plans that they outlined, there was a district office that will be monitoring these drones, and they will be dispatched daily, and there are specific places they're supposed to go and come back with pictures and videos and photographs and so actually the mapped out plan was
how come our water bodies are worse off?
No, because
the drones can't see.
No, that's what I'm saying, that the drone maybe uses Tiger head battery.
The drones can't see. So you see, this Galamsey thing, we should be careful the way we are joking with it and we are playing. All of us are at risk. Everybody in Ghana is at risk, because once our water bodies are gone, we can't survive in this country. We may have to leave this country. How do you live without water?
The structure is there.
How do you exist without water?
The implementation is always a problem. Well, let's move into the banking sector, the financial sector cleanup, and let's discuss the issue between the Finance Ministry and, of course, the advice from the Attorney General's Department. I'll take a story from the citynewsroom.com. Godfrey Dame clarifies Attorney General's position on revocation of Unibank license. Story says, a Deputy Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Godfrey Dame, has clarified issues regarding the preliminary note written to the Finance Minister on the revocation of the license of Unibank. It emerged that the Attorney General's Department, in its preliminary observations upon a request for comment on the matter, advised against the revocation of the bank's license, suggesting that it will be illegal to do so. The position was, however, not adhered to by the Finance Minister. But Godfrey Dame, in a City News interview, said the Attorney General's official position on the matter was different, indicating that there was nothing wrong with revoking the defunct bank's license. Now, speaking on Eyewitness News on Friday, Mr. Dame said the initial letter from the Finance Minister on the subject was only a first step in the process, and his office's official position on the case was what it argued in court. Sanda, now you interviewed Godfrey Dame on this issue. So initially, Finance Minister writes to the Attorney General's Department for advice with respect to the revocation of the license of Unibank. An initial response goes, and the argument out there is that this was not adhered to by the Finance Ministry.
Okay. So let's set the record straight quickly. The letter from Godfrey Dame to the Finance Minister was in January last year. So it's exactly a year ago. And this letter has now resurfaced, or actually surfaced. Now, this was like a client, lawyer advice sort of thing. It was not meant for the public, according to Godfrey Dame, but somehow it found its way. And we have seen what the contents are. Now, Dame says to us that whatever he's written here is not without prejudice. It is. We should not take whatever he's saying now on face value, because the case has proceeded beyond this, and they've gone to court and they've made their arguments and they've stood by those arguments. So these were initial comments that they sent to the Finance Minister. But you see, when I interviewed him on Friday, there were some facts I tried to extract from him, but he would not budge. These are simple. But the advice he sent, there were things that he quoted in law. Now, these ones would not change. It is like saying that A is a crime in the Constitution. Article so versus clause so. If it is written in black and white, there's nothing that can change it. So if Godfrey Dame quotes these articles copiously in his letter to the Finance Minister and says to us that ABCD was wrong on that day, it can never be right 2 years on. It can never be right 1 year on. That is a simple fact. What are the things that he said at the time were wrong? One, he says the way the bank was CBG, Consolidated Bank Ghana, was formed, there were some illegal issues that he raised up there. And these issues are still outstanding. He talks about a business license that has to be given to a bank before it can engage in a business transaction. And in his letter, he said CBG engaged in a business transaction even before it was given a certificate. CBG was given the mandate, or was created on August 1. And that same August 1, it was engaging in the transfer of assets and so on. They were given their certificate to operate on 2nd August. And Godfred Dame, is saying to us that is an illegality and that no institution is allowed to do that. And that until you are given the appropriate certification, you cannot do this work. And I'm saying that 2 years on, have we cured that? Has CBG proven that it got a certificate? Because if the facts are there that they started working before they got the certificate, it is an issue and it has to be dealt with. Right. So this particular issue is problematic for me. And I think that as an Attorney General, he should be able to stick to his own words that he wrote several years ago and tell us that ABCD is wrong. He talks about the duration of the administrator. KPMG was given the right to be an administrator for Unibank, for instance. They were given a 6-month mandate. According to Godfred Dame, and I'm not a lawyer, he is a lawyer, actually a senior lawyer, because he represents Ghana as our lawyer. Yeah. Now, he has written that the company was given 5 months, KPMG was given 6 months to do the administration of Unibank. In the 5th month, the government terminated their contract. He says that the termination process was wrong and that there are specific steps that have to be taken. These steps have not been taken. Up to now, we have not asked whether the government has gone any way to go and rectify this. Right. So I'm saying that the things that were wrong at the time when he wrote this letter are still wrong today, and they ought to be clarified. And he has refused to answer those questions. Great. And I think he has more questions to answer.
Let's take a few messages and then we can continue. This one says, I am surprised that people are shouting from the rooftop that Airbus paid some 2.9 million euros to individuals in Ghana. 500 excavators cost more than 100 million euros, and we should be seen crying over that than this Airbus. This is also from Abdul Basit Zongo Pania in Kumasi. It says, good morning, Mr. Umaru Sanda. I'm very sure that the fight against Galamsey yielded good results and we need to review the strategy. Let us get new, credible, clear, clean voters register now. And why is NDC afraid of the new voters register? For more years, is in Agamalizat, definitely. But Elvis, this letter from Godfred Dame to the finance minister and the fact that it's been leaked out there, pure mischief?
Well, what is mischief? It's a public document, so whether it is confidential or not, it's from a public institution. So if it gets in the public domain, public will discuss it. So what is the big deal? After all, they represent the public. The Attorney General is not working for an unknown entity somewhere. He works for the people of Ghana. So if he's written an advice to the finance ministry and it leaked, what's the big deal about that? The public needs to know what the state is doing on its behalf. Okay, so I don't have a problem with it being leaked. Because at the end of the day, I'm a journalist and I need to inform the public about what the elected officials and appointed officials are doing on behalf of the people. So I don't have a problem with that. It is the issue of, I think that we need to understand some things. I am not a lawyer, but I understand that when it comes to the financial sector, things are so complex that you need to have understanding. And you can be an attorney general, you can be a lawyer, but it doesn't mean that I understand the issues of the financial industry. Right. So I have trust that the central bank understands what it's doing. You see, to say that CBG license issue is a different issue from whether Unibank deserves to exist or not. The CBG did not take over Unibank. CBG is a completely new bank created. And they did what we call purchase and assumption. It's not a takeover. Purchase and assumption means that there are good and bad assets on sale. Right. And I have come and said, I want to buy the good assets. I'm not taking over the existing institutions. Okay. That impression that CBG was formed with by the amalgamation of the 5 banks. Financially, it is wrong to say that they took over. What they did was to buy the good assets of the 5 banks that have collapsed to form a bank of their own. So financially, it is wrong to say CBG is a creation of 5 banks amalgamation.
But then the fact that they began operations before they go a license still exists.
That one has nothing. It may not have impact on the collapse of
Unibank. Thank you very much. Elvis Darko is the editor of the Finder newspaper, and Umaru Sanda Amadu is host of Eyewitness News on Citi 97.3 FM. Thank you guys so much. Well, great.
Hi, I hope you enjoyed the show. Do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share with your friends. This is Breakfast Daily on Citi TV.
Join the Breakfast Daily team Monday through Fridays from 7:30 a.m. to 10. Join us for breakfast daily, only on Citi TV.